I destroyed 2 six-figure trading accounts by chasing stocks and revenge trading. The emotional monster got the best of me. And that same monster can get the best of you also, unless you use these 3 weapons. Also, I'll show you how XRPT is set for a 60% run before the end of the year. You ready to go? Let's go. Let's talk about the emotional trading monster. Now, we all face this sucker, and it can just blow you away. You know, it creeps in during volatile markets, whispering doubts. Now, if everybody's going to be honest, and I say, who has heard from the emotional monster when they've been trading? You don't have to raise your hand, because if you don't raise your hand, I know you're lying to me. It basically doubts and impulses that derail our best plans. Even if you're working a really great plan, the emotion monster can basically come up and destroy it. It turned my winning trades when I first got started sometimes into nightmares, more times than I would like to admit. I was breaking cabinets, I was slamming doors, just because I was so angry. And you'll see why here shortly. By the end of the session, you'll know how to spot the monster in your own trades and exact weapons you can use. Sound good? You guys ready?
Yes.
I
All
just
Bring it,
think
right.
bring it.
about, Dennis,
Okay.
I just think about all the people we've lost since way back at BAM that got
Oh,
out of
yeah.
the market.
I know. So stick with me, because I'll show you how this same monster is lurking with XRP-T. The first trap that he sets for us is the FOMO trap, the fear of missing out. The monster convinces you that stocks are mooning without you. In other words, they're rising and just, they're blowing up and going up higher. What's your big scar? My big scar is missing the 2,000% run that NVIDIA went on. I thought it was overvalued. FOMO hit. Everybody's profiting. And it finally talked me into saying, I have to take action. I have to take it now. And I know better. So I bought near the peak with no, I had a plan, and my plan was screaming in my ear, no, don't do it. But I got caught in the pullback, which triggered my stop loss. I didn't go back and check NVDA later. So the initial gain that I had, small gain, turned into a significant loss. And so that's basically what happened to me. FOMO can be driven by so many things. And this is one of the reasons, well, we'll get to the solutions here shortly, but how many of you have chased a hyped up stock and regretted it later? Everybody. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Who's answering for everybody?
I shouldn't do that. That's not very nice.
No,
Okay.
it's true.
I used to all the time. I don't do it anymore. At least I haven't yet. Not saying it can't happen again, but
If you have a structured approach and you're using the Autopilot Trader framework, and this isn't a promotion for Autopilot Trading, but if you're using the Autopilot Trading framework, it shouldn't happen. But we'll get to the solutions here a little bit. The next one, greed. Trap number 2, greed. The monster whispers, this is unstoppable. It's going to basically go on forever, and you're going to be RICH. And so, tech stocks up 50% in a month. And when my target was 30, greed comes on and goes, you got to hold on and let it go the rest of the way, especially when it's unexpected. In your mindset and in your trading plan, do you have a specific thing you've already identified and says, if I get up tomorrow morning and a stock that I'm holding, which was up 25, 30%, and all of a sudden it gaps up to 50%, do you have a written plan of how you will handle that? If you don't, then the greed monster can really get you. This could be the next Apple, or this could be the next NVIDIA. Don't sell, ignore the signals. Earnings missed hit, profits gone, losses add. And greed disguises itself oftentimes as false. Greed oftentimes disguises itself as false optimism or fake optimism. So if you're ever held too long waiting for just that little bit more, just give me a thumbs up and say, hey, yeah, Dennis, that's me. That's me. Trap number 3 is revenge trading. Now, I know you guys wouldn't do any revenge trading, right? Right on. And so revenge trading is basically after a loss, the monster fuels rage bets. And let's just, excuse me for saying this, but you're just pissed off. And maybe it's been because you had 2 other losses before and you just go, this is the last time, I can't take it anymore. So what began as a small test balloon is now wiped out. And that's revenge. What I'm about to tell you cost me $10,000 while I was trapped on an airplane and couldn't do anything about it. And that trade went all the way to 0. Yeah, ever tried to get even with the market? Be honest. I bet you have. And I know I have. And one of the times when I tried to get even with market, I had bought this really low rated growth stock, but it wasn't quite a penny stock, but it was pretty darn close. And I bought a bunch of it, at $2 or $3, $4, and it ran up to $10. I was taking a flight to Los Angeles, and I checked my phone to see what the prices were, tried to get an order, but they were calling us way to the gate, didn't get the order in, and landed in Los Angeles, and my $10,000 worth of profit was gone, and now it was heading lower. That stock, you want to hear a terrible feeling, that entity actually went to 0, all the way to 0, where it was delisted. And the thing about it is, because I didn't close it, it stayed on my account for a long time until I called, I think it was Fidelity at the time, and said, can we clean this up? I don't have these shares. It's worthless. And they were able to exit them for me, because sometimes you leave those skeletons hanging around in the closet and they remind you of really crappy stuff. But, never fear, there is an arsenal that you can take advantage of. And the arsenal in defeating, you have to remember one thing: the monster never fully dies. So you can chain him up. You can basically do what you need to do to guard yourself against it. But it can be chained, is what I want to pass to you. First, you need a shield, an ironclad trading plan where you risk no more than 1 or 2%. But your ironclad plan is, you basically define when you're going to enter, when you're going to exit, how much risk you want to take on. That is the basis for almost every trading plan. And if it's not, it's in our trading plan. And that's exactly what we do. Second, you need to have a mirror, a trade journal where you write down what the trade was about and start working through that. And then basically go back and review that. Okay, what was I thinking? What was I feeling? What was this trade doing to me? And then third, here's your exorcism, right? Is timeouts. You just basically say, I've had enough. I'm walking away. So when the monster stirs, your heart races, I step back. Some people have like a 24-hour rule or a meditation app that, resets them. So imagine cutting just 3 bad trades a month. How would your account look different than it does right now? I went back and did a study of some of my past trading years ago. And one of the things I noticed is that if I could just eliminate the trades where I didn't use my stops very well, and I started triggering out at 7, 8, 9, 10% plus, that if I just eliminated those trades, I would have been so much ahead, and it's a significant amount. And I was a hard, stubborn learner, because I did blow up 2 6-figure accounts, and my wife wasn't very happy. But thankfully, we're not there anymore. Here's where most traders just stop paying attention. They go right back to making the same mistakes. Don't be that trader. Hey, what I'm going to show you next about XRPT will show whether or not you've learned, or if you're going to let the emotional trading monster continue to control you. Watch closely. So let's wrap this up by taking a look at XRP. Are any comments? Anybody have any comments about what we're covering? And who was it? Is this better having the slides so you can have the points?
Yes, it is. Thank you very much, Dennis.
Okay. And so let's take a look at XRP. What can we learn from XRP? So XRPT is the 2-time leverage ETF for XRP. And XRP is one of the hottest cryptocurrencies that's going on right now. It has the potential, and it's sitting at about $3. Has the potential to go to $5 or even $6, doubling really quickly here. I found the ETF XRP has a couple of things that I really like about it. One, it has weekly options. So that's a check block that I want to make sure is checked because that gives me options if I buy this outright. And then two, it follows the chart of XRP really well. And so here's the setup that I'm looking at. This is not a coin, but it follows the coin. So as long as the coin's in there, this is going to be hopefully a viable entity. Here's the setup I'm looking at. I'm looking for an entry around the 50-day moving average. As I blow this up right now, let's blow this up just a little bit to give a better picture of it. And as you can see, I started today, price action, it started down here, ran up hard, stopped at that level, that past high level of resistance is now pulling back down below the 50-day moving average. So now I'm sitting there going, okay, I'm not above the 50, but I know that somewhere in this range right here, somewhere between 1648 and let's say 1740, there could be a potential entry for this. I'll keep it small because my stop loss on this based on the ATR will be greater than 10%. It's going to be about 11+% will be my stop loss on this. So I will manage only a half position. And then my initial targets, 15 to 25%. So probably take off a little profit at 15 and then some more profit at 25. The upside potential, though, which I think prior to the end of the year, is if I take off from here and run approximately up to $28, my potential, let's say just slightly below that, where it would potentially roll around, I'm looking at about 59 to 60%. That's my potential gain to the upside for part of the position. So let me be clear, guys, this is a leveraged ETF. It's volatile and decay could bite us. But again, this one is a little bit riskier, but it is a trade that I think could turn out pretty darn good. So there's the entry levels, there's my stop loss. And again, that's before the end of the year. That's over the next few months. And did it do that any type of run like that before? Well, yeah, when it first came open right here, I mean, that's 200+%. So that's the other part of the target. I can run the Fibonacci's extension on that and run up 200% up to there. And it's going to put me up about 38%, about $38+. If you want to know if emotions are sabotaging your trades, take 10 minutes, take our trader quiz. A link will be down below and it'll show you exactly where you stand, what kind of trader you actually are. So let me ask you a question would you be bullish or bearish on XRPT into the end of the year? Or third choice, is this one that you would just avoid? Bullish, bearish, or avoid? Just drop that in the comment section.